Okay, welcome to our first video on AutoCAD. First thing we want to do, you'll open up your desktop once you get logged in, and you want to find specifically the one that says AutoCAD 2023 English. There's going to be a bunch of other ones on there, but you want to look for the one that's specifically like this, not the architectural one, not the electrical one. So open that up, and that should take you to your home screen like this. You may take a minute or two, and it might have to check the license. But when you get to this home screen, you can pause the video if you need to, click on new, and then that will take us into a drawing number one. Now, if you notice, we are in modeling mode, which is basically the drawing mode. And when we are done with this project, which will be a few videos divided up, we will have our blueprint like this to show our flat sheet metal project, our cutout for our safety glasses box. So we're in our home space here, and this is just our blank page. A couple things to note for how we're going to use AutoCAD so we don't get too confused and overwhelmed, because it does a lot. If you notice right here, when we first open it up, we are on this home ribbon. If I click on these different tabs up here, that changes all my tools. Almost everything that we're going to do, at least for the introductory stuff, is going to be under home ribbon. We're going to use the draw menu, the modify menu, which changes what we have on the screen, and the annotation, which is where we put our dimensions and any notes. And these are basically the main tools we're going to use. Later on, we'll dip into some of these layers and work on that. Now, these will be the tools that are going to help us to draw, whether we're drawing lines or circles or whatever. And then down here, the menu bar on the bottom tells us how those tools are going to work. So for instance, I'm just going to click on a line. If you notice a couple things, as I move my cursor around the screen, okay, it's asking me for a direction. And I'm going to have to read what it's asking for the different tools, and it will tell me what type of information it needs. So it's saying specify my first point. So if I click anywhere down here, when we start drawing our box, I usually like to start over close to this X, Y, and I just click a line. Now, if you notice, my line is attached to my starting point, and I can move it in any direction from there, and I can draw some lines across. So if I want to get out of a tool, let's say I'm done drawing lines, I can just draw a few here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I want to get out of it. I can hit escape on my keyboard, or I can right click and I can go enter. Okay, I want to delete something. I can click on it one line at a time and delete, or I can draw a box around it by clicking here and going that way, and anything inside that box will show up with these little grips on them, the little blue boxes, and I can hit delete on my keyboard. Please notice that there is a delete and a backspace on a Windows keyboard. The delete is more powerful and will do things that backspace will not. So you might have to look for the delete key. It's usually smaller. All right. When I'm drawing a line, a couple things to notice. Okay, I want to be able to draw lines straight across. If I do it like this, I have these little green lines that kind of lock it into place. I like that. I turn those on and off. Those are called polar tracking, okay, with this little circle button down here. And then without those, I can't lock into my place here. If I turn on ortho mode, you notice the icon is different. This shows me that I can lock into different angles. And if I do my drop-down menu next to that, I can select what angles I want it to kind of lock onto with those polar tracking lines. But if I want to go straight across, like from my box, I can turn on this ortho mode, and it will lock in our points specifically to go either horizontal or vertical, and that's all it does. So I like that. Another thing that we're going to do, so let's set up our workspace real quick. For our boxes, let's just turn on ortho mode for now. And I want to go over here and I want to turn on snaps. Okay, that's going to let my cursor to stick to things in the scene, kind of like a magnet. And I for sure want to turn on endpoints and midpoints. If you have more things turned on, you can leave them for now. But we get to that. The snaps is this box with a small grip in the corner, which is a small box in the corner. And I get this menu with this pull down arrow next to it. Okay, so I can just verify endpoints and midpoints are turned on. I minimize that arrow, and I want ortho mode in blue and this box in blue. You turn it on and off right there. All right, let's draw our box. Let's not wait around anymore. So I'm going to grab my line, and I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to click down here, and I'm going to drag it across Now, if you notice, my line is changing size. Okay, right now I'm 24. Depending on how zoomed in you are or zoomed out you are, if you roll that middle wheel, you can zoom while you're drawing. Okay, but I want my line specifically to be 9.5. So I can do it in decimals or fractions. And if you notice right here, as I'm drawing across, it's giving me a dimension that's changing, and that's in blue. So if I just start typing on my keyboard, that changes to what I'm typing. And now it says 9, and I can do 0.5. Or if I want to do it as a fraction, I'm going to go dash 1/2 with this backslash. I can't do spaces in that box because a space, the program thinks that I'm accepting it, kind of like the enter key. So 9-1/2, and I hit enter on the keyboard, and my line is locked in to that place. Now, it may look like it didn't do anything, but if you notice, my dash line starts at that new place right here. And so now if I pull up, I can continue drawing my box with my vertical line here. Now this vertical line is 6.75 or 6-3/4. Okay, I lock that in. Now, if my view isn't ideal, there's two things I can do. I can roll my wheel to kind of get it more centered in my screen. Or if it's kind of off to the side, if you press your mouse wheel down like a button, that lets you slide everything over and pan your shot. So then I can go there. Now, this line is, okay, this line is going to be 9.5 again. And then I can go down here and click, and it's giving me this green box because I turned on my snaps using the snap button. Now I want to get out of it. So remember, you can hit escape on your keyboard, or with your mouse, you can right click and go enter. And there's my box. All right. That's as far as we need to go in this first video. Let's do one last thing. Let's double check to make sure our box is the right size. We're going to go up and grab this dimension tool. Okay. And if I click down here on this line with dimension tool, I click on the line. Let me try it again. Let me click in the middle of the line. I don't want to click where it's giving me a little green handle. I want to click where there's no green handle. So here it is. And now it's locked on my size to my cursor. I'm going to pull that up and out of the box just so it's not in the way for our further drawings. And that says it's 9.5. I'm going to do the same thing on the side here. Grab my dimension tool one more time. Go over here, click on this line. It's showing me that it's going to be 6.75. That's perfect. And I'm going to drag it to the right outside of the box. And that's just going to let me know as I'm walking around the classroom that your box is the right size. All right, we're going to finish up on this part, and I will see you in the next video when we start putting in our hems for our box. Thanks for joining me.